Isaac Rodriguez sometimes refers to himself as a reformed banker. He's had a varied career and a lot of success over the years. And when we started this speaker series to help community and also to help small businesses, we really started brainstorming on what are some of the things that Isaac did to boost small businesses that he was working for and that he was working with. And Isaac said, consultative selling. He talked about the ways that he has sold in the past and the ways that he was forced to sell in other places that he simply disagreed with. And he's passionate about this subject, and he does not pull any punches. So I give to you now my friend, Isaac Rodriguez.
Thank you. You can all hear me okay? Good. First of all, thank you. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, he's absolutely right. Everything that he said, I agree. No question about it. I am your friend. So I want to talk about me. Talk a lot about me right now. I'm going to talk about me, about my shoes. Maybe we'll talk more about me. I'm going to talk about how I got started. This is what I'm doing now. It's all about me. Yeah, see? All about me. Who cares? You go into a selling situation, you're trying to sell something, what do you care about? Yourself?
Well, you're supposed to care about the customer.
Right. The customer, right? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So, you want to know about me? Happy to answer anything at all. Whatever you'd like to know is my pleasure. Really. It's just, who doesn't like to talk about themselves? You know? I mean, if you don't like yourself, that's something for therapy, something else. It's not here. We can't address it. Sorry. It's just outside my purview. But you get involved and you're looking at a company, you're talking about your company, about what it is that you do, and the circumstances that come in, what do you want to know? What about them, right? So, I gotta ask you, what do you want to know? Why are you here? Because I can go on and on and on about me. Who cares? Really? What's that going to get you? Right? Is that right or no?
Yep.
Does it make sense? So yeah, you'll know about, oh yeah, I saw this presentation. Yeah, I know this guy did this, and that. Well, what are you taking with it? I know. So, if perhaps you'd be so kind to indulge me and give me some idea as to why you're here, and I'll be sure to touch on that. Who's brave enough to start?
This is like my first conference. I just wanted to come here to see what it was like and get the experience of being in this kind of area.
Fantastic. All right, we can do that.
I came to get some selling tips.
Okay.
How to instantly build rapport with a potential customer through a cold call.
Instantly build rapport with a customer through a cold call.
Yeah.
Okay. And forgive me, the nature of your business?
Advertising.
Advertising, nature of your business?
Commercial real estate.
Commercial real estate. Yes.
My husband has a small business that where he's actually progressing, making t-shirts, making mugs. It's more like on a fashion line. So we're dealing with a lot more customers, and I wanted to get more information in speaking with customers, closing sales, and making them feel more comfortable.
So you have an existing business that is
Yes.
selling shirts and
Yes,
like an apparel,
custom-made shirts.
custom-made shirts and apparel business, and it's growing, and you want to learn more about how you can talk to customers.
Yes.
Fantastic. We can talk that. We can address that, and we can address that too. Awesome. Yeah.
Grow my business. Grow my business.
Grow your
More
business.
clients.
Grow your business through more clients. Okay. can do that too.
I'll make the most of conversations when I have a particular objective. I'm in sales as well,
Okay.
in insurance. And there's a certain sales process that we're expected to follow,
Sure.
and there's certain goals that come with every.
That you got to meet. So you're working. This is not your business. You're working for someone that you want to have an idea, right? Or another company.
Well, it is essentially my own business, but
It is.
within an agency, yes.
I see. Okay. So within the if you understand what, well, maybe we'll go a little bit more into that. The idea, what I'm thinking of, is like I used to work for a bank. So the bank would impose certain things, or other banks would impose restrictions that would go against what made sense. So that's what I mean, whether or not so for example, in a bank situation, a lot of the people they will reward people for the number of checking accounts that they would bring in a particular week. So what ended up happening, because these people would go out and basically after a while, there's only so many accounts within a certain geography because they have tons and tons of people doing that. And so they would go to their friends and say, hey, can you open up another account? I need to make my quota for this week. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I wanted to get that nuance.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Enough about me. Now it's about you. Yes. Because why is that important? What are the benefits of understanding you? Now I'm essentially, and I'm going to tell you, it's kind of like, you'll see what I'm doing. I'm selling you on what we're doing here today. But I'm not selling, and you'll understand more as we continue. Now we're going to address your particular desires, your things, the things that you wanted to work on, the reasons that you came here. What's that going to do? It's valuable to you, right? It's the reason why you're here. I wouldn't have known that, right? If I didn't ask. Would I have known? Would I have created any value? Now, if I don't answer the things, then I realize that's something else. We haven't gotten there yet. Now, if I'm able to address those things that you told me about, would that be satisfying, you think? You don't have to answer at once. Yes. Right? And time. What is our most precious commodity? Time. The only thing we can't get back, and all those other things that you talk about, right? So time, cold calling. Let's talk about cold calling for a second, because you mentioned it. In cold calling, you have, what's the goal? You want to introduce people to your business. There's statistics and all sorts of types of things, and certain industries are more in tune to cold calling. My experience, I used to make 80 calls a day in contacting equipment, companies that used equipment in their business. I was financing equipment, leasing and financing equipment. So I had to identify those companies within particular industries and geographies, and those companies that would need that at that particular moment in time, they were either buying equipment or they were needed to refinance their equipment. That was pretty much it. Real estate, commercial, if you're buying or selling, you got to call and find companies that are either buying or selling their real estate, or they have real estate to lease, depending upon which side you're on, right? So far. So, how much time do you have to do it? Do you have the time, depending upon what your organization's time frame is, for you to bring in business? There's only a certain amount of time that they're going to allow you to bang the phones and be able to, so you want to do that more effectively, and that's why you're here, right?
Correct.
I'll show you how you can save time. But that's going to be up to you. How much you're willing to plan and think. Be smart about it. Here, I put 4 basic principles of consultative selling. They are a combination of experience and reading and other things that I've gone through in my life and books, and I'll share a book at the end that helped, that kind of got me started along these lines. your business and you aren't like any other. It's a blessing and a curse. I can tell you from a profit and loan standpoint, we're the only one of our kind in the country. Nobody understands what we are. You know, they're like, what? What are you? Who? Huh? What? Yeah. Huh? Unique. Every individual that works in this company, unique. Is there another clone? I have not been able to clone Scotty as hard as I try. I cannot. Not gonna happen. So, understand that and understand what that value is. What do? How can you articulate in those phone calls why? I can't tell you how many calls Scott and myself we get a day where I have no idea whatsoever who we are, what we do. Just to give a little fact, we've been here for 122 years. We're all over the internet. We've spent so much time, money, effort trying to educate people on who we are, the public, because that's the point. We've been a discrete alternative to pawn shops for 122 years, but didn't tell anybody about it until about 5 years ago. 3 years ago, we really started telling people about it. So, people that want to do business with us now are starting to hear about us and starting to see it, or they come up with a list, in a marketing list, when you're starting to call, right? So they look at the things, so they're just banging the phones, one number after another. And they call us, and they say, oh, we can do this, that, and the other thing for your bank. We're not a bank. Do you know who? So what am I going to think about this person that's calling me that knows nothing, and then starts asking me questions about who we are? Like I have the time to educate them, to help them sell me. What? Does that make sense? Happens all the time. But, I'll tell you one thing though. When you do your homework, and you know who you're talking to, and you're calling for a reason, wow, it's like music. It's like music to our ears. You know us, you have us, you know you can actually identify something, why you might be able to help us. Really? That's interesting. That's compelling. I just wanted to touch base. I just think, are you doing anything? Waste my time. I would say, don't do that. Thank you for calling. It was really appreciate it. Perhaps you should go to our website. And do some research and call me back when you understand how it is that your business can fit to mine. And how you can provide value to what we do. Then we can talk. Then we can spend some time. Then it's worthwhile. Does that make sense? It's not rocket science. This is not. But people don't do it. And it makes me crazy. Every day I say to him, is it me? Is it me? Really? I don't understand. Why do people call and don't know what they're talking about? Don't know why they're calling. I don't understand that. When again, give you a sense of calling and trying to book business. This was a time, I'll never forget, 1997. My then wife was pregnant with my daughter, and I just made the biggest move of my life from a bank to General Electric Corporation. At that time, the most admired company in the world, really growing, doing tremendous things, but they did not fool around in any way, shape, or form from the standpoint of the customer. They had a laser-like focus on the customer, knew exactly how to do it from the customer way back, and they were either number one or number two, or they were not. And that was the same way for the employees. So, went from a salaried bank job to something where it was draw plus commission. That was about half of what I was making, because I hated the banking business so much, because it just didn't make sense to me. It just didn't, from a business standpoint. It's 25 years trying to figure out how they could still be in business. It's amazing. And I realized, that's another conversation, another presentation, for another time. But in GE, I had to hustle. And I didn't have a lot of time. Because every month we'd get a list, and so like we were talking before, we'd get a list of the top reps And you knew if you were at the bottom, and you would see, everyone, all of my counterparts would look at the list. And I mean, similar in your business too. You look at the list, and the next month I'd look and see which one of my buddies over in California or this or wherever was gone. Because they didn't make it. They didn't cut it. But GE was brilliant because they focused on what was necessary, what was critical to quality of the customer so that you could eliminate as much of time as possible to zero in on what was important to the customer to be able to compete, because my product was a higher cost than every other product. So I had to build value where value didn't exist. This is what we're talking about. How did I do that? Consultative selling. And a lot of hard work and planning and prepping before even picking up the phone. Who can tell me about active listening?
When you actually listen and retain the information instead of just like hearing what someone says.
That's not. Oh, what I just did was not active listening.
Yeah, you heard.
Right. Bingo. Well, you're spot on. Spot on. Are you there? How many times you go to an event or a thing, I mean, or if you're just starting to go to events or things, or even a party, and you're talking to somebody and you know they're thinking about something else. How many times does that happen? Hopefully not a lot. Because then, I don't know, that's something else. But you know what I'm saying? And going back to before, if you focus on the person and get them talking about themselves, you'll learn a lot more about them and how what it is that you do can help them. Does that make sense? And so there are techniques and things, and I don't want to boil it down because it sounds manipulative, and that's not what it's about, and that's not what I'm teaching. I'm not teaching a secret or shortcuts. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not teaching how to manipulate a conversation. Not at all. I'm teaching you how to listen. I'm teaching you how important it is to listen. To show and to get to the point where you can show why and explain why you're the right person to do the work that it is for this particular thing, whatever it is they're doing. Does that make sense? Yeah, going back to the example of GE was really important because we were more expensive than any of the banks. So we'll go out and we'd structure transactions for a bank, and a bank would come in, and they would come in, and it was always about rate. The most immediate thing was 2%, 1%, whatever it was. They were cheaper. So sometimes I would get calls at the bank from customers that were shopping, or even at GE, a customer that was shopping a rate for equipment and an equipment loan. So, or brokers, and I pick up the phone, hi, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I'm buying a press for my printing company. What's your rate? Oh, my rate? Yeah, that would be 0.25%. Wow. Yeah, you have to pay me back in 10 minutes. What? Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, can we talk about what you're doing? Because it's not all about the rate. It's if you're shopping price, then you're missing out on a whole lot of other stuff. And that's none of my business. This is your business. You operate your business. You see what I'm doing there? Do you hear what I'm doing there? In this conversation, saying, wait a minute, you just stop, wait. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, oh no, I can do better. Now I've just reduced myself to a number and removed everything else from the equation. I could do the best, the best structure of deals and so on and so forth, but now I'm cutting my own throat, and now I'm going to lose money. And the reality was that, gee, I would lose money because it was based upon how much I would be able to charge. And if I had value in myself, and if you're running your own business, you value yourself. You value what it is you're doing, you've got to price yourself accordingly. That makes sense. and know your market. Know where your value is. Know what that is. Because if you go in right away and they say, you know what, we're really not, thank you, but no, it's like, oh, well, I can do it for, this. No, it's just, then it becomes not about what it is that you're doing, it's about what's being paid, and then it can never be low enough. You don't want that to happen. Because you'd be out of business pretty quick. Or out of a job. Right? Because you want, be always going back to my people. I need lower rates, I need lower, for what? There are many lenders, and even in this business, learn that the example is clear. We are half the cost of commercial bond brokers. About. People still go to pawnbrokers than they know about us, and will pay double. It's not obvious. And that's the thing. If you reduce yourself to a commodity, it's like you're saying, I'm just like everybody else, so I'll just be a little less expensive. Magic. Did you know we're all magicians? I mean, I actually happen to be a magician. Believe it or not, it's true. I was a former president of the Society of American Magicians, and yeah, but that's something else. But even still, you've got magic. The magic that's in your business, the magic that you do in your leasing of space, right? In bringing the right tenants to the right properties in a reasonable amount of time with a maximum rate. There's a secret sauce that you got that nobody else has. So your experience is unique to you. Your experience, your background is unique to you. Only you looked at those things. Right? So it's like, if you know how to do something, you don't necessarily want to tell people right out of the blocks, oh, really? I can pick money out of thin air, no problem. It's not an issue. But then they'll be like, yeah, we'll do it again. And you can say, no, I can't do it again. But why? Why would I do it again? Question? So you all have the magic. You all have the ability to show where you make something happen. Right? I mean, everybody, you can do this. It doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't. I'm not going to read it. You can read it. Take a second to see that. I can keep going, but I'll stop for a second. Questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas, problems, issues. I'd like to go through a scenario with you. It could be a real one. I can give you one based upon a real selling situation, or I can make one up. It's up to you.
Real.
Real, okay, then I need one. Give me it. Good. What do you got? What are you selling? What do you want to sell? All right, we could do a situation, or I could tell a story about. We talked a little bit about. We talked a little bit about your cold calling, a little bit, some things like that, on selling tips. Think about a little bit more tips of selling. We got the idea of active listening and that kind of a thing. So, and the idea of a conversation and where we go with that conversation, and you're here, which is awesome. So, we'll make one up then. Someone comes in. I could use real or not. I don't know if you have an example, but it's fine. There's go in to see a company. Out of nowhere, right? Out of the blue, we walk by. Well, no, here's the. When I first came here, there was a gentleman who had been sending emails to this company for years to try and get us to respond to they had an overall organization of non-for-profit collateral loan brokers around the world. We're not the only ones we're the only ones of our kind here, but not around the world. Nobody knew that. But he had been sending emails, and they were summarily ignored here. Absolutely ignored. So when I first started, I got the chief appraiser gave me an email and said, hey, you know what, I got this, and take a look at it. It was in Spanish. I read it. Wow, wait a minute, this could be for real. So I called them, and it turns out it's a real organization established in 1957 and learned about the history, and as a result, we've gone to visit the genesis of this type of organization, which is in Bologna, Italy, and it was just really incredible. But how did that happen? How did he do it? How did we? And we're members. We couldn't be any more thrilled and knew nothing about it. Well, what did he do? He was here. He's from Spain. He happened to be here. He was working for this company. He was walking, and he looked, and he saw this building, and he said, this is like a lot of the other, similar. I wonder if they do. And then he started doing some research into who we are and what we did. And then he got really excited because he knew that we were that type of a company. And that's what we did. And so what did he do? He started sending emails, and he heard nothing. Zero. For years. Time. That's how I call it, right? Years. But we held on to it, because we held on to everything. And so I saw this, and I contacted the guy, and then he shared with me all of the reasons why he was contacting me, what the things were about, how was he contacting, what the purpose was. Never at any time did he discuss price, ever, what it cost to join this organization. And let me tell you, I was nervous as hell about it. Really scared about what this was going to cost, because I really wanted to join this organization, get involved, and see what it was about. And terribly afraid that I wouldn't be able to afford it. But you know what? I'll keep going and see, see what happens. Because he showed and demonstrated value. He knew who we were. He saw me. And he could show, and he was able to say, hey, in our organization, we this, that, and the other thing, and we can share ideas. Wow, it's phenomenal. Invited us to events, another thing, and so we went. Never once saying what the cost was. Amazing. So it got to a point where it was like, oh my God, I had numbers in my head that were just ridiculous. And when he finally said, you guys gotta join at some point. I guess he had the luxury of that and times of that. And I'm like, yeah, what is this? Oh, it's just whatever it was. And it was a fraction of what I thought it was. I would have paid triple for the value that they brought to us. Does that story, kind of give you a sense of why price isn't more important, but people focus on it. They will focus on it. And I'm not trying to be, around it. And yes, you have to think about what your market is and what your market will bear and what people will pay for what it is, certain things. I'll give you another example, a perfect example. So we have time? How are we done? Right? 2 more minutes. But at a street fair, we were doing a street fair near our 72nd Street office. And I used to do children's parties. I used to do, as a magician and everything else, do children's parties, things like that. So I was twisting balloon animals in front of our little table to generate some interest. Well, someone wanted, we came with her family, and then she came back again, and she says, would you do, my son's 4 years old, he's going to be 4 years old, and would you do his party in 2 weeks? He's going to be on the 18th. I know it's short notice, but I didn't want to turn her down. I do run this company where I'm here and we're here with that. It's, really, but yeah, here's my number, call me. I fully expected her not to call me. She called me. Sure enough, right? So now I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna, it's a Saturday morning, what am I gonna do? Oh God, I gotta, all right, it's 10 4-year-olds, and 20 adults, and then, so I start thinking about what it was, and so, what do I charge for this? What are commercials? By the way, I make thousands of balloon animals. They all look like dogs. It's true. So, I say, wait a minute. All right, I got to figure something out here. So, it's like, I quoted a number that was like, it was worth what? But it was way over what you could get a professional balloon sculpturist for. That's what I mean. It's like, this is not my market. It's not my thing. So I priced myself so far out that she was basically like, it'd be crazy. I mean, like, if she hired me, it'd be crazy. And then I would feel uncomfortable about living up to that expectation. So I told her even before I quoted, I said, listen, you remember, because that's what I told her. I said, I am not a sculpturist. I am not. I said, do magic show. I can do all that kind of stuff. But I said, if you're just looking for somebody to be in the park and and entertain the kids, it may not necessarily be your guy. But I think I turned this off.
Give me a second.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you got it?
So, in that scenario, when she told me, and I'll go through this. So she approached me, and because it's inbred in me, I just go right into it, and I'll go right through the process for you right now. That is my Socratic selling process. It's Socratic selling in the book, by the way. That's Socratic. I'll give you the name of it. So if you want. So she comes over, and I say, oh, okay. So tell me about the party. How old is he? What are your expectations for the party? What are you looking to do? How many people are going to be there? So I'm asking as many open-ended questions as I possibly can to learn about it. Oh, what's his favorite thing? What does he like to do? What is his favorite thing? Is there a theme to the party? Why is that? So the kinds of people that are coming, it's going to be at the park. And so it's going to be at the park. All right. So you're going to have the kids, they're going to be playing in the thing, and you'd really like somebody, so this is the conversation. I have not told her one dime of what it is that I do, or not what it would cost, nothing like that. I'm just getting to understand what it is that she wants, what she's looking for. Or I could say, yeah, I'm $100 an hour, $200 an hour, whatever. Bye, here's my card. It's your choice. You can do that. And there are people that ascribe to that. Bang, get it out. Do as many as you can. Get it out. Boom, boom, boom. Stick, move, so. It's not me. You have to think about who you are in your because there's a place for everything every time. But for me, I like to feel like I'm doing good for people. I like to feel that what it is that my service that is I'm providing or the product that it is that I'm selling actually can help them. And isn't just the reason for me to put money in my pocket. Your money in my pocket. And I'll tell you, every day I feel that from people trying to, and I'll only do this once, sell, air quotes that is, sell our company. Does that make sense? Yep. Can you see it? Can we see it? I know it's a little dark today. Is that right? Yeah? I will read it if you really want me to. Oh, thank you! Thank you! Does that sound good? And I mean it, though. I'm not saying it just because it sounds good, but I mean it. I really appreciate you being here. I don't want to talk to an empty room, and I want to help you. And I want to give you what it is that you're looking for and kind of give some information. So that's why I start by thanking you. When you go to a meeting, when you go into a selling situation, thank the person for their time. So simple. People forget it, or they launch right into it, or you're nervous, or whatever. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking the time. You can't say it enough. That's how I feel. When someone, when you get somebody on the phone that actually talks to you and gives you information, you can't thank them enough. You know? Because they're taking their time of their day to listen to what you have to say. And that's meaningful to them. It's meaningful to me. And if you have respect for that, people get that. So if you're saying, yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. There's ways you can say it too, right? But when you mean it, you mean it. And that comes through. So if you're selling something you don't believe in, forget it. You're wasting your time. Just telling you right now. Save you a lot of time. A lot of people have to figure it out for themselves. But I'll tell you right now, that's how it works. Really important thing that I learned too at GE, when they went through that, was the idea of I had to avoid, because there's so much nerves when you go in and talking to someone for the first time and getting up to things, and it's so much nervous energy, and I'm like, and you've developed your elevator speech, and you've developed other things, and you know what you're doing, and I got my value proposition, and there's all this stuff going on in my head, and like, and because when you finally get somebody on the phone, or you're actually in front of the person, wow, you're on. Away you go. And first impressions and all of that, and they're taking all of that into consideration, right? So if you go on and on and on and on, kind of like what I'm doing today, hopefully, they're going on and on and on and on, they get more back on their heels, can become more back on their heels. So I'll tell you what I used to say that would help ease a conversation, or to help begin a conversation with a prospect. And so you can insert whatever it is that you like, but the idea is, hello, Mr. Customer, or Mr. Prospect, or Miss Prospect. I'm a lender for such and such company. I specialize in companies like yours, and we've helped a lot of companies like yours do X, Y, and Z for thing. And thought that would be beneficial to you. Shut up. It's the hardest thing to do. My God, it was so long for me to learn to just shut up and listen. And just say, hey, what they have to say. Really? Oh, I'm too busy. Whatever. Oh, this and that. Or back and forth. But they're going to come back to you with something. I'm really busy right now. I can't really talk. Oh, I understand. I felt it was that important to contact you because, I just felt it was that important. If there's another time, I have a more convenient time. Let me know when. Oh, that's all right. Okay. That's a cold call on the phone, and you get a lot of those. And it's really a lot for luck. A lot is luck on that. But the idea is you say something. I would go in and say, yeah, I'm here to talk about your business and your financing and so on and so forth. And I can tell you all about my company. I can tell you everything, but we'd both be really bored. Because it'd be a lot more better use of our time. We talked about what your needs are, and then I can try to take what I have to meet those needs. Rather than you figure out what I have, what that fits with you, because what sense does that make? I know what I got, you know what you got. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Does that kind of make sense? But the key thing is, you ask the question, and then oh yeah, playing back, so important. The beginning, what do we do? What did I do? I asked you. And then, what?
You reiterated what
I
we asked.
reiterated what you asked, right? And what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? That's what you want. You want people nodding their heads when they're talking to you. You want people knowing that you understand them, regardless. Does that make sense? Because they might necessarily need you right then and there. But they might know somebody who needs you because they're sitting there assessing you for somebody else potentially. Oh, this is good. This person's good. I think Susie could use her. She's been doing this, that, and the other thing. I think I can trust her. Does that make sense? And of course, don't judge. Not your business, it's their business. Unless they're doing something illegal or other that is against your religion or whatever else, in which case, what are you doing that to begin with? You know, so, but unless it's business, but that's your decision. I'm not going there. All right, homework. Thought you were going to get away easy here. This is worth a lot more than the price of admission. You're going to get a handout. You're going to get a handout with homework. And I'll tell you, in the consulting, this is the giveaway. In my consulting practice, that just the exercise of doing this will give you results. Better and faster. It's just, I'm not making it up. It's the truth. But you know why? Because you're doing it. Because you're actually thinking about it and writing it down and focusing on it. That's really the reason why. Most people want to buy the solution. Most people want the quick fix. Most people want to get rich quick and lose weight fast and do other sorts of things, right? And get beautiful overnight and go backwards in time and all these things that are completely impossible to do. But people still want to do it and still buy things that they think that will help them do it. But I'm going to tell you that this works, because I know it does. And it's none of those things, and it won't make you lose weight, but it is low in calories and fat. So you've got, put down a list of your 10 current customers, your 10 prospective customers, and we're going to hand out a sheet. Mike in the back has a sheet that has that at your leisure, whenever you like. If you don't, whatever. But I encourage you to do it. 10 current customers, 10 prospective customers, and 10 what are also called centers of influence, people that have referred you business within a period of time. That period of time is up to you to decide, whether it was 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months. For me, it was someone that referred me a real piece of business within the last 6 months, something that I could actually do something with. That wasn't just like I walked by and I saw an address and said, yeah, you should call that guy. You know, somebody told me like that. Okay? And this is a book that was very helpful in getting me to understand consultative selling. The big thing with this book, and I'll kind of give it away a little bit now, is his big thing, 3 words. Tell me more. So, what does this mean?
Commercial real estate.
So you're in the commercial real estate business. Tell me more.
I work for Colliers International. It's located on 52nd and 5th Avenue.
Colliers International on 52nd and 5th.
Yes.
Okay, that's not far. Oh yeah, that's not too far. So, did you walk down here?
Took the bus.
Oh, okay.
We're one of the Vanderbilts used to live.
You're one of the what?
We're one of the Vanderbilts used to live.
Really?
666 Fifth Avenue.
Tell me more.
Well, the building was pulled down.
Uh-huh.
It was replaced by an office building about 1970, built by Tishman Construction.
They pulled the building down in 1970 by Tishman. Tishman.
Tishman.
Wow.
There were 2 buildings,
Uh-huh.
2 residences on that corner. One of them was Vanderbilt, and I lived there.
Interesting.
But I want to ask about
Please, yeah. Ask me a question.
how do you rate email marketing versus calling on the phone? And we're considering that the email has to be short because otherwise nobody's going to read it.
Right?
It has to be short.
Yes. Okay. Hold on to that for 1 minute because I think I'm almost done. Or I am done. Let's see. Take an improv class, and then I'll address that question. Yeah. Take an improv class. Not after the. No, it's so important. The idea of active listening, improv, changed my life. And no joke, changed my life from a personal standpoint. I was primary caregiver for my mom. She was suffering from Alzheimer's, had no ability to speak very early in the illness, and had no way of communicating or understanding where it was that she was. Desperation or anything else. However, in going to an improv class, I learned 3 techniques that helped me deal with that situation and actually turn it around to something that was not so much positive, but actually just helped me deal with it. And it opened up my mind to how it could apply to business and personal life, and how important it is to listen and be here right now. That's really it. You know, that's not it. There's a lot more. That's it for now. Okay, now your question. Email marketing.
To get to the person to speak.
To get to the person to speak.
To speak eventually.
Okay.
Because you're not going to get it on the phone immediately.
Right. No. Well, sometimes you, but you know, it's luck. That's luck. That's luck. But we want to try and remove the luck. I'm sorry, you had, yeah?
No, well, I'm the chief marketing officer. One email is worth 100 Facebook posts is equal 1,000 tweets. And my number one comment about email marketing is when somebody takes themselves off your list, thank them, because they're culling your list. And your list, it takes a long time. You know, it's not 5 hits anymore; it's 7 hits now to sell somebody something. And that email is one. And every time some people drop off that list, the list just becomes more and more and more focused. So as new media as I am, I still love email marketing.
Now, his perspective, understand this, is from a different perspective than yours. You're selling a different person than he's selling. Right? He's selling, giving awareness to the general public, in essence, about our existence and what it is that we do. What's your purpose?
We are sending emails to someone who gets 300, 400 emails a day.
Why?
Because that's the way to get them initially.
How? Why do you think?
Because because the other option is to make 80 calls a day.
Yeah, you think that, so you're saying that the options are to make a lot of cold calls or blast emails until the person...
Not blast emails, to know about the company.
Oh, a focused email, okay.
Focused.
Okay, I'll go even one step further for you, in a sense, and give you an example. Constantly here, we are bombarded with requests to sell the building, lease the building, this, that, and the other thing, kind of realtors contacting us constantly, okay? Even one went so far as sending an overnight mail offer to buy the building with a letter and the whole thing. I mean, like, you know, clearly trying to elicit a response. What do you think? I mean, and it was addressed to me, it was well written, all of those things. Think I responded.
When is the trash?
Exactly where it went into the trash. It was not responded to. So, that's a physical thing that they really thought through. And really, it probably had attorneys draft this parent term sheet and all of this stuff and spent real money. Although, was it real? 20 bucks, 2 clicks on a thing, yeah, pay-per-click, it's gonna be pretty, 20 bucks or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, I gave him credit for a unique approach and very bold, but I'd have to be really desperate I think, to be something along those, or kind of like, I don't know why it would be something along those lines. Because this is an established business, established operation. We've been here. We built this building in 1909. Do you think, our board, do you think that, you know, again, that's the point, not you, but you know what I'm saying? Did the person think? I guess I'm just going to stop there. Did they think? So, I'll go one step further, and then the question in terms of, because I want to give some real concrete stuff that is, I feel, is so valuable and is going to shortcut. Shortcut, but it'll just spare you time, save you time, work smarter, not harder, all of those things. The idea is, you've got tools, you've got the internet, you've got so many different ways to get information, right? About buildings, about property, about the universe. I don't know what your area is, what you focus. I mean, you have to have a certain market niche and that kind of stuff. But you know something? I'll even take this in any other business. You have, if you take your prospects, let's say you have 10 prospects, 10 buildings you want to get into, or 10 property owners you want to get into, whatever that is, okay? What we're saying is your options are to cold call, send cold emails, so, right? As possibilities, and you can spend a lot of time and they can never contact you, and who knows. My suggestion to you is use what information is available to you, meaning the internet. Research the company, you research the people, you see what it is that's going on, you look at the individuals that are involved. What you're doing, and now again, this is very specific to them, but I'm hoping that it's helpful so you can picture it into your own businesses. But the idea is, this type of a thing is a long-term sale. He's not selling a pair of shoes. He's selling either real estate or getting someone into a space, right? So it's going to take time. And so the person that is going to work with you, they will better be able to trust you and know that you can produce, because otherwise they're wasting time, right? So if you so someone that is involved in a building that, or a thing that's tens of millions of dollars, but whatever it is, that kind of thing, they're going to want to know that, just out of nowhere, be like, so how do you get in? Well, there are Facebook. No, not going to be fun, but there is a professional networking site. It's called LinkedIn. For business to business, and you have contacts. Now, I have a particular approach. This is another presentation, but I'll give you a couple of things on this. But the idea, my approach to LinkedIn is I take it extremely seriously. I don't have it's not a contest, not a connections contest. It's not a tweeting contest, not a posting contest, and anything else. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's a professional resume type of thing. It tells you, and your personal brand. So all the people that are within my network, I know somehow or other, shape, or form, and if someone tries to connect with me, I respond before connecting. And I ask them how they know somebody else in my network. And if they don't know, then they're accepting things and they're not serious about what they're doing. Because I don't want to do business and work with people and talk to people that are serious about what they're doing and serious about preparing research, and don't want that pill to lose weight fast, or quick, or that kind of thing. Or just get, or send a blast and then, win the lottery. Because that's kind of what it is. If you do it any other way without a thought process, you're really kind of just rolling the dice. Does that help?
No.
So,
We do that.
okay, so then in terms of that, now I'll go one step further then. You do that. Now when you identify your thing, you've got to have second and third or contacts that may know of the person, that you need to talk
Third
to.
is too remote these days.
Okay.
Second is big.
Okay. So, when you make your list of your 10 prospects and your 10 customers and your 10 referral sources, when you go to your meetings and you meet with certain people, you show them this list. Do you know anybody else? Do you know anybody I can talk to? It doesn't matter. Maybe you're talking to the wrong people. It doesn't matter. Start anywhere. But you got to take your time. You got to do your homework, and you got to be there, because nobody's going to do it overnight. You're going to want it. You're there. And want to know you're real. Again, thank you for coming. I got questions. Yeah.
What would have been your approach if someone was trying to like that recruiter was trying to reach you with the FedEx package? What would have been your approach to reach you if you were that person?
Oh, if I was that person on that?
I know yourself.
Oh, knowing me, it would be it's either through LinkedIn, not either through LinkedIn or an email that said, and this is the thing, that said, someone suggested I refer, someone I know and I trust suggested that I talk to you, that you talk to me. On the board, no. Then I really want to throw you out the door. Because then you've gone over my head. Now you've gone over my head, and you won't get the time of day.
That's interesting.
Nope.
That's very
No, because that's why I exist. So the board doesn't have to deal with it. And if they have to deal with it, I'm pissed. And you don't want me pissed. It's not a good thing.
I had also heard once that you could send a short email, and then when you never hear back, you can call, and then the gatekeeper is going to say to you, what is this call in reference to? And you can say it's in reference to an email. And then they won't ask any more questions because it's not really their business.
Yeah.
And that might get you through.
Yes, but now you just risked the gatekeepers.
Right.
Yeah. Now you've just leapfrogged the gatekeeper and the gate. I mean, I can just give it from my standpoint. It's like I trust implicitly, know implicitly. So if someone does that, and then she tells me I didn't say, oops. Now where are you?
Okay.
What about cultivating the gatekeeper?
Brilliant. He said cultivating, what he was saying, cultivating the
The
gatekeeper.
relationship with the gatekeeper.
Right. What I would do there very often, I would call on off hours to those companies that needed the equipment and that kind of stuff, and I don't know who I would get. And I would tell my story, whatever it was, as quickly as I could. Hey, I help companies and so on and so on. I've been trying to get a hold of so-and-so. Does he work there anymore? I don't even know. Oh, God, I could get a hold of the guy. What is he? Does he work for a living? Oh my God, and just make it doesn't have to be hard and heavy, huh? Talk to him. Say, I need help. I'm trying to do this. This is what I do. I'm really good at it. I think I know he's gonna enjoy, at least would want to hear about it.
Who's your gatekeeper?
Who? She's actually not here tonight. But she's usually here. Yes, that's right.
Just letting you through.
I'll tell you, you get by Larissa. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Any other questions? Any questions, thoughts, things? Again, thank you for coming. I want to give you all a round of applause. It was great. Hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it.